Pizza time.
No Way Home is now officially one of the biggest movies of all time, making over $1 billion at a box office affected by the pandemic, and has cemented the movie's stars as names for the history books. But what were these actors doing before their Spidey days, and just how much did being in Spider-Man affect their careers? Well, that's what we're going to take a look at here, so yeah, let's get swinging. Oh, but before we do, there will be many No Way Home spoilers in this video. You've been warned. When Tom Holland was cast as Spider-Man back in 2015, you'd be hard-pressed to find anyone who knew his name, other than his family, of course. The English actor, who beat out more established actors such as Asa Butterfield for the role, got his acting start in London's West End as the titular character in Billy Elliot, before he picked up roles in The Impossible, Wolf Hall, and in Locke, which, of course, starred Venom actor Tom Hardy. As well as being an actor, Holland is also a trained dancer and gymnast, and it was his athletic ability that got him the role as Spider-Man after he sent tapes of himself to Marvel Studios. And the actor even ended up doing flips in his audition to showcase his talents. But because the role of Spider-Man is such a coveted one, it took Marvel a lot to be fully convinced, calling in the actor to 8 auditions before finally giving him the role. Now, according to Holland and the driver that took him to his final audition, another thing that helped him get the role was that he apparently wasn't very good looking, with the driver saying, "You know what, I think you're gonna get it because the kid that I just drove there, he's so good looking." Well, good looking or not, Holland crushed it as Spider-Man, and his Civil War test footage earned high praise from Guardians of the Galaxy director James Gunn, saying, "Holland is to Spidey as Downey is to Iron Man, Ledger was to Joker, Pratt is to Star-Lord." Since his first outing as Spider-Man in Civil War, the actor has improved tenfold, with his performance one of many highlights in No Way Home. Holland has also proved that he can be a leading man outside of the MCU, starring in the likes of Devil All the Time, Chaos Walking, Cherry, Onward, and of course, the upcoming Uncharted movie. But long before there was Tom Holland, there was the one and only Tobey Maguire, whose Spider-Man 3 dance moves are even better than Holland's. And let's face it, if you're between the ages of 25 and 35, it's hard for Maguire not to be your favorite Spider-Man. Now, while he might not have been the perfect all-around Spider-Man, as he wasn't quite as good with a quip, and he was also 26 when he first played a teenage Peter Parker, unlike Holland, who was 19, Maguire did genuinely give off the impression of an awkward kid who just wanted to make the world a better place and maybe even one day pay his rent. But Maguire was by no means the favorite to land the role, with Freddie Prinze Jr., Jake Gyllenhaal, and Maguire's best friend Leonardo DiCaprio all heavily linked to play the part. Besides, Maguire's resume was that of a serious, almost melancholy actor with roles in The Ice Storm, Pleasantville, Ride with the Devil, and The Wonder Boys, where he mostly played odd characters who lived outside of mainstream society. A career path he chose so he wouldn't keep competing for roles with Leo. But it was this oddness that made Maguire perfect for the role in director Sam Raimi's eyes. And he believed that Maguire's performance would generate real sympathy from the audience. And let's face it, he wasn't wrong. Since his Spidey days, Maguire has had somewhat of a quieter career, but he has had roles in The Boss Baby, Labor Day, and The Great Gatsby with his good friend Leo. But Tobey Maguire isn't the oldest actor to play Spider-Man, nor is Holland the first Brit to play the part, with those honors going to amazing Spider-Man actor Andrew Garfield. He was 27 when he was cast in the 2012 movie, was classically trained in the arts, and like Holland, made his start in theater. Garfield eventually made the switch to the screen, with roles in Doctor Who, The Other Boleyn Girl, The Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus, as well as a leading role in the movie adaptation of Kazuo Ishiguro's brilliant dystopian novel Never Let Me Go. He then got his big break playing Eduardo Saverin in the biopic The Social Network in 2010, before he picked up a Tony Award for his performance in the play Death of a Salesman in his Broadway debut. Garfield, who was a massive Spidey fan growing up, then got the role as Spider-Man in the franchise's reboot, with Garfield apparently studying movements of athletes and spiders and incorporating them into his performance. And he also practiced yoga and Pilates to prepare. While his role as Spider-Man was ultimately cut short after the second Amazing Spider-Man was poorly received, there are many who have labeled him as the definitive Spider-Man, and since his appearance in No Way Home, which he unconvincingly told us he wouldn't be in for over a year now, fans quickly called for a third Amazing Spider-Man movie. But of course, it wasn't just the Spider-Men themselves who returned to the screen, but their villains too, including Alfred Molina's Doc Ock. The British actor also made his start on the West End, even earning a nomination for the Laurence Olivier Award for Best Newcomer in a Play for his performance in the production of Oklahoma in 1980. Molina made his on-screen debut in a little movie named Raiders of the Lost Ark as Satipo, before appearing in the likes of Chocolat, Frida, and Boogie Nights. He was then cast for Doc Ock in Spider-Man 2, where he was nominated for a Satellite Award as Best Supporting Actor. And when he was asked why he agreed to make his return in No Way Home, he gave a very simple and joking answer of, as Mr. Krabs would say, money! Willem Dafoe, the man, the myth, the legend. Could anyone have played Green Goblin better?
I'm something of a scientist myself.
Dafoe was so good as Green Goblin that Jamie Foxx bowed to the actor on set, while Zendaya said that despite him being lovely, he scared the hell out of everyone. Dafoe made his film debut in Heaven's Gate, although he was actually fired during production, before he got major roles in The Loveless, The Boondock Saints, Wild at Heart, Speed 2, Mississippi Burning, and of course, Platoon. Eventually, Dafoe was cast as Norman Osborn, aka the Green Goblin, which led him to act mostly through his voice and head movements as he was made to wear a mask and prosthetic teeth. When Dafoe was pitched the idea of returning to the role in No Way Home, he didn't want to do it just for a random cameo, saying, "Listen, I don't want to just pop in there as a cameo or just fill in close-ups. I want to do the action because that's fun for me." And that is why he is a legend. Jamie Foxx was another one to make his return as a Spider-Man villain, playing a revamped version of the Amazing Spider-Man 2 villain Electro. Foxx got his start in comedy when he was cast as a featured player in the sketch comedy show In Living Color, before he was handed his very own sitcom in the aptly titled The Jamie Foxx Show. However, he really came to prominence after playing Ray Charles in the biopic Ray, a role in which he famously had his eyelids glued shut and wore prosthetic ones for 14 hours a day, which earned him an Academy Award and household notoriety. Foxx continued to score roles in Collateral, Jarhead, and Miami Vice before he was cast as Electro in Amazing Spider-Man 2. With roles in the likes of No Way Home, Dune, and Space Jam: A New Legacy, 2021 has definitely been the year of Zendaya, and to be honest, I'm more than fine with that. Zendaya, who started off as a child model and backup dancer, got her main start a lot closer to the House of Mouse, with her playing Rocky Blue in the Disney Channel series Shake It Up. She also competed as one of the celebrities in Dancing with the Stars, before she eventually made her big movie break in, you guessed it, Spider-Man: Homecoming. Zendaya's own choices heavily influenced the character, such as not wearing any makeup in her audition, something which was carried through in production, and her carrying around a mug of herbal tea. Along with Dune and Space Jam, since her MCU debut, Zendaya has appeared in The Greatest Showman and the HBO show Euphoria, which earned her many plaudits. Hawaiian actor Jacob Batalon's resume before his role as Ned Leeds in Spider-Man was, to be honest, pretty light, with him having only one acting credit to his name as the role of Cooper in the movie North Woods. In fact, Batalon never set out to be an actor, with him originally interested in singing and the ukulele, which he studied at Honolulu's Kapiolani Community College before dropping out. Batalon was eventually found by a talent scout who went to Honolulu looking for fresh blood before being convinced to go to New York and study at the New York Conservatory for Dramatic Arts. He then got his first ever audition for a vague supporting role, which just so happened to be the part of Ned in Homecoming. After sending in a tape, he was then invited to participate in a screen test with Tom Holland in Burbank, and the two clicked instantly. Since getting the part, Batalon has said, "Ned has really affected my life. He's so bubbly and so open that in reality now, I'm so much more happier. And that's been a really good thing for me." Before his role as the Sorcerer Supreme, Benedict Cumberbatch also got his start in theater, performing in plays such as Hedda Gabler, After the Dance, Frankenstein, and Hamlet. But of course, it was his performance as the lead detective in the BBC series Sherlock, a role that he seemed made for, that really gained him global attention. Despite the likes of Joaquin Phoenix being linked to the part, Benedict Cumberbatch was eventually cast as Doctor Strange in a 2016 movie, further cementing him as a household name, with the sequel set to follow the events of No Way Home. The actor also starred in Power of the Dog, which is getting some early Oscar buzz alongside another MJ, Kirsten Dunst. And just like Tom Holland was notably younger than Tobey Maguire when he first played Spider-Man, so too was Marisa Tomei notably younger than fellow Aunt May actress Rosemary Harris. Tomei got her start on the television series As the World Turns, as well as the Cosby Show spin-off A Different World. But she really became known to the world after she received an Academy Award for the movie My Cousin Vinny. Tomei would get 2 further nominations for In the Bedroom and The Wrestler, before of course playing Aunt May in the MCU. And finally, before he was Daredevil in the 2015 Netflix show and again in No Way Home, Charlie Cox had a career in, you guessed it, London's West End, but got his big breakout role in the fantasy movie Stardust before getting roles in The Theory of Everything and Boardwalk Empire, which, like Daredevil, was cancelled way too soon.
Weird, huh?